I want to thank you so much for working so hard this year to get ready for this concert. This means so much to me and Julia and the rest of your teachers and your parents who are going to be in here. You've done such a wonderful job, and I know you're going to be fantastic tonight. So thank you. Give yourself a round of applause. So, in order to thank you, I want to extend an offer to you that over this next week I'll be coming out on my same schedule, though your teachers may not be there. It might be myself, where I'm going to come out and we're gonna have a little party. All right, we're gonna have some things to eat. We're gonna have a movie to watch. We're gonna take a music notes, but then we're gonna have a lot of fun afterwards. So for my I'm gonna take a seat, please. So for Ludlam, I'll be there tomorrow. For West Lab, Pine Villa, and Maze, I'll see you on Wednesday, just like usual. On Thursday, I'll see all of you at Miami Heights. And then Friday, if I have to change something, the only one would be Pine Villa. But if I see Pine Villa on Wednesday, then there will be nothing on Friday. There will just be those 3 days. Yes, see. What's that? You do need to bring your instruments, so that's true. When I come and visit you, make sure you bring your instruments along, okay? Because you're going to do a little thing. I'm going to pull you out and do a little playing test. It'll be music that you've already seen and playing a couple scales, so you'll know exactly what to do. All right? Here's what's up. This Wednesday. This coming Wednesday. So 2 days. Okay. If everybody has had a chance to go to the bathroom, it's now time. They're gonna start opening up the doors. And so that means that people are gonna be coming in. So you should look focused and ready to play for the next 15 minutes because we're gonna get started. Okay? Great job. Good luck. Great play. You're gonna do fantastic.
Looks like it's working.
Oh yeah, we can close the study. So I'm gonna go. Okay, bye. Love you guys. Hey Nelson, how's the lobby looking?
and like our page. You can also follow us on Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. Now that we're connected, as a courtesy to the performers and fellow patrons, please turn off all cell phones and electronic devices with an illuminating screen at this time. And please remember that photography and video recording are not permitted during the performance unless pre-authorized by the management. Thank you and enjoy the performance.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Lesniak. I'm the director of the Music Reach program here at the Frost School, which is the community engagement program. We go out into the community and provide a lot of different kinds of music classes to hundreds of students each year, including string education, which we have on stage today. We also do music therapy classes, drumming, general music, music technology, as well as summer enrichment programs. Tonight is made possible by the Citizens Board, and I would like to thank them. I'd also like to thank all of the teaching assistants and Frost students that work in the program. Tonight's program was the brainchild of 2 grad students, Rob Saunders and Julia Rapani, and we're excited to see the work that all the students have done. I would especially like to recognize all the parents in the audience. Parents, can you please stand? Thank you so much for your support, for making sure your children were here today, for driving them, for always making sure they practice at home. Now I would like to hand over to our conductor, David Cruz, and our TAs, Rob, Julia, and all of our students. Thank you.
As with any good story, ours begins with, once upon a time, there was a. This story begins with a wind, a strong wind that blew throughout the forest, rustling the leaves like a bow across the cello. This strong wind never stops, keeping the leaves, as well as all of the animals in the forest, dancing and singing. Let's pretend that we are all trees in the forest and a strong wind is blowing our limbs to and fro. Please stand up. We're going to do this all together. We're going to have our arms out to the side and sway back and forth. Wonderful. Thank you so much. You may sit. We'll be selling those pictures later. Just like the leaves that become free and blow across the forest, we are whisked away to a spot where we can find a cat in a blue turban holding a magic violin. He sat upright, and he always remembers how to because of his turban. It is called a turban of peculiar specialty, and this also stood for the steps he needed to take in order to sit properly with his violin. T-O-P-S. T for triangle. O for out. P for pull, and S for strings. Our feline friend keeps playing the same melodic patterns over and over, practicing to become the next It's Cat Perlman. They sounded like this. A robin perched nearby, waiting for the wind to calm, overhears Mr. Cat and hops down to see what was going on. Robin asked Mr. Cat, "Why do you keep playing those patterns over and over?" Mr. Cat replied, "So I can become the next great violinist, greater than Midori Gato, or even Wolfpack Amadeus." "I don't think those are their names," said Robin, "but I'd like to hear the violin. How can I start?" "Extraordinary," claimed Mr. Cat. "You have the tools, all the tools you need to begin." Robin was confused. He'd never played a violin before, neither had any of his family or friends. Robin had seen so many other people, many animals enjoy playing different instruments, and he wanted to try something new. "How can I begin to play the violin if I don't even have one yet?" "Well, repeat after me," replied the curious, creative cat. Do, mi, do. Do, mi, do. Re, ti, re. Re, ti, re. Do, mi, so. Do, mi, so. So, fa, re. So, fa, re. Ti, re, so. Ti, re, so. Mi, so, do. Mi, so, do. Re, ti, so. Re, ti, so. So, mi, do. So, mi, do. Robin was so good at singing the patterns. After all, every bird is a natural singer, kind of like people, that Mr. Cat's magic violin started to glow and vibrate. The 4 strings, E, A, D, and G, began to sing all at once, and magically, another violin appeared in a perfect bird size. "Wowee!" cried Mr. Cat. "I've never seen that happen before. You must be ready to play your first song. I lovingly call it Dad's Song. It was written in honor of my ferocious father, Feline Mendelssohn." Robin furrowed his brow. "That's not your father's name." "I know him. His name is Bob." "Never mind that," asserted Mr. Cat. "This is how the song goes." The wind just keeps blowing all the time. Sometimes it's so loud that you couldn't hear anything else except the thump, thump, thump of Mr. Rabbit's never-ending toe tapping. Today, Mr. Rabbit was thumping particularly loudly. Not far away, a red squirrel was sleeping soundly in his hole in the tree when all of a sudden he was awoken by a sharp thump, thump, thump. On a particularly loud set of thumps, an acorn fell from the wall where the red squirrel collected them and landed squarely on the small animal's forehead. "What's all this racket?" Red the squirrel barked from the opening in his hole. He quickly climbed down the tree and found Mr. Rabbit thumping away with both of his feet. "What's all this?" "Sorry, I didn't know what you mean," replied Mr. Rabbit. "All that thumping. You might knock down the entire forest if you keep it up, or at least my sweet nut collection." I can't stop," cried Mr. Rabbit. "When I get this feeling inside me, I just can't stop. How about you join with me? That usually helps it pass a little quicker." "Well, all right," moaned the red squirrel. "As long as you help me pick up all of the nuts that fall from the tree while we tap rhythmically together, I guess I can join you for a little while." We're going to get our macro beats going, so all of us can do this in your toes. It's going to be like this. And then on your knees, we're going to do our micro beats. And repeat after me. Do, 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 they, do. Do-do-day-to-do day, do-do-day-to-do. Thank you. Mr. Rabbit and the red squirrel continued tapping their feet throughout the entire forest. The red squirrel was collecting so many acorns that he was going to need to build a new nut cellar into his already extensive hole in the tree. Eventually, their tapping brought them near where Robin and Mr. Cat were just setting down their violins. "What's all that thumping?" squawked Robin. "I don't know," said Mr. Rabbit. "This feeling just comes over me and I need to keep tapping. Red, here, was kind enough to join me and see if I could get through this episode a little quicker." Mr. Cat glided over. "I have an idea. Follow me and something really cool happened." "I'm tired. No way. Who are you?" replied Mr. Rabbit, Robin, and the red squirrel. No. Just do as I do. Repeat after me. Let's do our macros and micros again. Do-day, do-day, do. Do-day, do-day, do. Decided it was time to share what they had learned with other animals and wanted to see all that the world had to offer. They agreed that the best idea was to start heading west. With Mr. Cat leading the way in his bright blue turban, Robin, Red the squirrel, and Mr. Rabbit gathered up their new instruments and set out on an epic quest. 5 minutes down the road, Mr. Rabbit bemoaned, "Are we there yet?" "Shh, quiet. Really, already?" cried the rest of the animal band. "I'm just so excited to meet other musicians in the world," explained the rambunctious rabbit. "I love beating my feet and playing music with others." "True, we all do," assured the ferocious feline leader. "We will find a nice place to stop for the night, and maybe there will be some others there to share our talents with." "Well, I can't wait," cried the traveling trio. And with that, the creative quartet traveled on through the rest of the day, excited for their adventure. Robin, being the only bandmate with the capacity to fly, kept a lookout for a place the string band could stay for the night. Swamp became mountains, mountains became valleys. Finally, valleys turned into prairie land, and Robin found a flat patch of land with logs arranged around a circle, perfect for a band practice. "I found a great spot," squawked Robin as he swooped down low. "It's flat, there are seats for everybody, and there's even a fire pit for us to use." "Is there a tree?" inquired Red, since it's common knowledge that squirrels only stay in the finest arboreal accommodations. "Yes, there's a tree, and not a bad looking one either," replied Robin. "It looks like I could stay up there too." The traveling troubadours circled around and set up camp at the spot Robin located. Mr. Robin and Red collected kindling for the fire while Robin and Mr. Cat prepared supper for the ensemble. After their meal, the animal band began to practice. The sound traveled far on the open plain and caught the ear of some beautiful mustangs grazing in a field nearby. Drawn to the curious sound coming from the campground, they made their way over to join the fun. "What's all this then?" said the lead mare. "We were just trying to come up with a song about our dinner," replied Mr. Cat. "We found some beautiful cabbage heads in the meadow over there and boiled it over the open fire. It was delicious." The beastly band nodded in agreement. Do you want to hear what we came up with? Feel free to clap at any time. The touring team certainly moved fast, so fast that they made it all the way to Europe and began to see older buildings and big cathedrals on every corner. The bells were ringing to wake up the people in town. The animal band happened across a young girl playing outside in the early morning. Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines. Little girl, what's the matter? Asked Red. He had run up ahead, scoping out the town from the rooftops. It's my brother Jacques. He's always sleeping in, and it makes us late to school, cried the little girl. Listen, even the morning bells are ringing now. What am I to do? The creative cat had a plan. I know this great folk song. Let's play it in a round, and maybe we can get your brother out of bed. Mr. Rabbit looked puzzled. I'm more of a square kind of hare. We know you are, cried the others. No, a round is when one person begins a song and then another person comes in later, explained Mr. Cat. Watch my cue for when to start the melody. As the band finished their song, a young boy came out of the door, wiping sleepies from his eyes. That was a nice song. Did you play that, sis? Asked Jacques. Nope, it was these wonderful music. As the girl turned around to introduce the band, there was a big flash of light and the sound of a clock speeding up. Our rambling rockers were no longer traveling only geographically. They were now beset with the great challenge of navigating through time. They were not sure where to stop, but then Red the squirrel had an idea. I remember this melody that really made me happy every time I heard it. I can't remember the name of the song, but I do remember the name of the cow who wrote it. His name was Beef Oven. Now, I think it's you who's mistaken, exclaimed Mr. Cat. I'm familiar with this melody, and I'm pretty sure it was written surprisingly by a human. Let's keep our ears open and see what we hear as we make our way through the ages. Red heard the melody being pounded out on a piano. Here, I think I hear it. It doesn't sound all that happy, though, said Red. They stopped, and came upon a frizzled gray man pounding out notes and chords on a piano, with his ears pressed against the soundboard. The band moved cautiously to the front of the piano to say hello. "Hi there, are you Beef Oven?" "Huh? What's that? Say that again," cried the grizzled man. "Hello, sir," yelled Red. "I like that song you are playing. Are you Beef Oven by chance?" All day I try to write and I'm constantly interrupted as I try to finish my final concerto. If the great Ludwig van Beethoven can't get some peaceful isolation, then who can? The cantankerous composer got up and started stamping about. "I want this melody to be the main theme in the piece, but I just can't get it correct." "What if we try playing it for you?" said Mr. Cat. "Sometimes it's good to hear your ideas coming from someone else." What's that you say? Let others play my tune? But how could you know it? Beethoven questioned quarrelsomely. "Well, get on with it then." "Oh my, how wonderful, how full of joy!" A look of relaxation and complete happiness came over the old music master. "You've created something so beautiful. What should it be called? A joy song? Hail to joy? Here's to joy? What about just joy?" "All terrible ideas. Now get out." As quickly as his heart had been filled with joy, Maestro Beethoven turned back to his piano and started pounding out more notes. "Please leave me be. I need to finish my masterpiece." All the animal band left quickly. I wonder what he ended up calling. The beastly band made their way across the countryside, through the hills of Austria and down the mighty Danube. They at last came upon a beautiful country palace and heard wonderful music coming from every direction. It seemed that 100 orchestras were all playing at once. "I know that music," cried Robin. "That's the work of Joseph Haydn, the famous classical composer." "You know, I think you're absolutely right," agreed Mr. Cat. "Let's see if we can find him." The animals first went to the closest sound they could hear to investigate the whereabouts of the elusive composer. "Haydn isn't here," they kept hearing from musicians they found, and it seemed that they would never find him. Each of the finely decorated rooms, filled with gold and music, turned up no sign of the great Haydn. Upon entering the last building on the massive palace grounds, the musical animals were beginning to get restless. "We're never going to find him. This place is huge," whined Mr. Rabbit. When we find him, I'm sure going to give him a piece of my mind," said Robin. "Yeah, this guy better be worth it," yelled Red. Mr. Cat thought for a moment and turned around to the others. "What do you say that when we find this guy that week and continue talking to his bandmates about a devious plan to start with the fugitive figure?" The last room they came upon had a massive door, and they heard symphony orchestra through it. They kept playing the same passage over and over in muted voices. would exclaim, "No, no, that's not it. Something different." Mr. Cat slowly peeked through the door and turned his back on his friends to say, "It's him. I know that powdered wig anywhere." All four sneaky animals crept up behind Haydn, holding their fingers to their mouths to keep the rest of the orchestra quiet, and stalked ever closer. Then, when they were only a few feet behind him, the frustrated father of the symphony, they raised their instruments Haydn heard these notes and his wig nearly came off. Oh my, that was a surprise. Hold on a minute. That's it. That's exactly what this song needed. Haydn quickly described what the changes to the orchestra needed to perform his vision accurately. This is it. This is my surprise symphony. Haydn thanked the animal friends so much for their contribution to his music and invited them to stay and eat and rest in the Esterhazy Palace before returning home. "You have been so helpful to me and so many others. Stay and enjoy." The animals enjoyed themselves so much that they began to forget about their home. The animal forest filled with music from the future. The stars decided that it was up to them to remind our musical travelers of their home and started to sing. The next morning, Red, Robin, and Misters Cat and Rabbit woke up homesick beyond belief. They immediately started traveling down the Danube to return home. The river was moving slowly, and they needed to achieve 88 miles per hour in order to travel back to their own time. "We are never going to make it back, are we?" asked Robin. "I am so sad. I could cry. I just want to see my wonderful nut collection one more time," exclaimed Red. "All this traveling has really taken the beat out of my feet," cried Mr. Rabbit. Mr. Cat, feeling the pain and frustration of the others, started playing a calming melody for the others to enjoy. Before they realized it, the river had picked up and they were traveling through time and space back to their home in the woods. Everyone there was so happy to see the traveling minstrels again and asked what they had seen through their journey. The band spoke about finding each other and deciding to take off on an epic journey, coming across a campsite and playing for some prancing ponies, traveling across the world to France and helping a little boy get to school, coming across a man, not a cow, and finally enjoying themselves in the company of great musicians at a country palace. The other forest creatures were so enraptured by the story that they also asked about what they had learned on their quest. The band took a moment, looked at each other, and started to play. We learned about tempo and rhythm, duple and triple meter, yelled Mr. Rabbit. We learned about major and minor tonality and how to play in the keys of D, G, and C, added Robin. We learned about dynamics and how to play loud and soft, piped up Red. We also learned what a wonderful world we live in. It is filled with beautiful music of all different types. We got to see and play with great people and visit far-off lands. Music is for everyone, big and small. Now we would like to share with you, our friends and family, one last song from our fairy tale story. We want to thank you, everybody here tonight. Thank you for coming out on a Monday night, the week before Memorial Day. I know it was a challenge for some, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you, University of Miami Citizens Board, for your support and backing this project. Without your generous gift, Julie and I would not have been able to support the coordination of strings outreach programs through Music Reach and develop the two new methods for beginning string instruction. One is outlined by what you saw tonight, using storytelling narrative to build relevant and useful metaphor to enhance learning in youth string students. The Mandolin Violin Parallel Program, or MVP, is a novel approach to learning advanced musicianship skills such as pitch discrimination and harmonic function understanding early in the beginning violin students. These children have been instrumental and incredible participants in helping Julie and I to uncover gaps in the learning process and come up with ways to address these concerns. Thank you so much.
Your generous gift has also allowed us to acquire instruments and software necessary to conduct and evaluate the learning process when using these instructional methods. Mandolins were purchased to replace other instruments, and we have been able to have access to the most advanced data analysis software available. Lastly, we are using the funding to create the University of Miami Citizens Board String Pedagogy Resource Library. This will consist of a collection of past and current method books, pedagogy manuals, and repertoire for beginning string level instruction. This library will be made available to all students at UM and will be updated as soon as we finish our methods and get them published.
We'd like to thank Melissa Lesniak, the Music Reach Director. Without her guidance and support, this also would not have happened. Thank you so much. We want to thank the Music Education Department faculty and Shelley Berg, the Frost School of Music Dean. We'd like to thank all the principals of the schools, the 5 different schools here, with Georgette Medicall at Ludlam Elementary, Eleni, thank you. Elianis Basulto at Pineville Elementary. Martin Reed at Mays Conservatory. Anita Lee at Miami Heights Elementary. And Barbara Soto at Henry S. West Laboratory. Thank you to the Music Reach teachers who we came and invaded their classes to come and do our crazy programs with, and so thank you so much. I'd like them to stand. There's 2 on stage, 3 other assistants on stage. Thank you so much. They're all out of the audience as well. Thank you so much. Last but not least, thank you, parents. Without your support and giving and caring for the learning of your children, it wouldn't be possible. You've done an amazing thing and they have an amazing start. Just hats off to you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We're gonna let you go, but first we gotta sing a song. And sorry. But first I need to thank David Cruz, our wonderful maestro. And now we're gonna sing a song. We have one last song and I need to sing.
someone asks him to begin. Fling, 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 everybody. Fling, 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 fling. A serious little mouse said, how can I fit in? The cat said, here, you play this upon a mandolin. Fling, 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 fling. And the vibrant chicken, her name was Mary Ann, brought on her cello and started pounding in. Ding, 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 ding. The lonesome forlorn hound dog knew well the viola. Its tenor voice sings true in the orchestra. La la la, la la la, la 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 la. In the windy forest, playing all day long, jams a wild string band, plays his very song. Song, 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 song. Well, thank you. I think we have a lot more pizza left, so please. Hi. Thank you so much. then someone can grab it. Don't just stand in the podium.
Hanging off the speed of construction operation. I see it's everywhere. Oh, that's what. Okay. That's what he said. Oh, yes. I'm the only one that does this. No one does this except for me. That's why I was looking on the stage. For speaker. Anyway, yeah, I know those guys.
So what happened to him? So you said you want to complain about him?
Complaints? No, no.
We had more people and it's taking more time.
My bad. Probably.
I like Kyle. Oh, Kyle's so cool.
Yeah, I guess I just had a monitor sort of lapse. Okay.
Oh, that's what he did. Oh, good. Now he gets to see me trying to figure out where he put this.